going to be talking about sales today. I had a couple of comments that people had mentioned of when I asked, hey, what do you want me to talk about? They were like, tell me about sales. How can I do better sales? Tom Birchall is my name, 7-digit business builder and entrepreneur, and I love helping people learn how to master business so that you can build the business of your dreams and begin to live life on your terms. This topic of sales is something that people get a little uncomfortable about. When we run workshops, with folks, we ask them this question: what's the first thing that comes to mind with sales? And write it down, and then we debrief and talk. And it is usually consistent that it is awkward, uncomfortable, negative things that come to mind for people. And so this topic of sales is an awkward one, and yet it is so essential to moving business forward. And so I wanted to make this simple for you folks. The first rule that I want to talk about, rule number 1, is that people buy people. If you got a pen handy, go grab a pen and a piece of paper here and write that down. People buy people, they don't buy products. That is a significant one. When we are going through day-to-day life and experiencing salespeople coming at you, you're going to be experiencing folks that are typically, because 80% of people do this, they are there to sell product. And they come at you with the product and sell this and sell that and description of products. And you just like, that's where you get bombarded. That sense and that yucky feeling comes from people pushing products. And that ends up being what's classified in the industry as being transactional selling. And it's not caring about the person buying. It is just the transaction. We just got to make money. We got to sell product. We got to move product. What's your volume? What's your quota? And all this kind of busyness. And that's where sales gets its bad rap. It's awkward, uncomfortable. It's pushy. And you don't want to be that guy. And you don't want to be that gal. One of the phrases that I had with my sales teams was being politely precocious. And being polite is just a simple thing. It just gets back to old-fashioned values and treating people like people and being kind and genuine and authentic. And that's what it's all about, is treating people how you want to be treated. And that is usually with respect and kindness. And so when you switch this framework in your mind around of people buy people, not products. Yes, I'm selling a product, but if the people buy people, if that is true, then they're buying me, or they're buying you. So you as a salesperson, you're the person they're buying. And in some of the other lessons that I'm going to teach, it's how to get deeper into that. But this first step is getting this fundamental understanding of realizing that people buy people, not your products. So they're buying you. They're buying you. They're buying you. So, what does that mean? It means being politely precocious, and it means understanding your why. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And who you are. So, politely precocious. Let me describe that a little bit more. So, polite is the one piece that I described before, and it's treating others how you'd like to be treated, which is usually kind and respectful. And the precocious part is about stepping out of your comfort zone. So to begin to have conversations with people, to start a dialogue, you need to be a little bit precocious. And precocious is the act of stepping out of your comfort zone, striking up conversation when you might not want to. It is having an email to reach out to someone, to text someone. Maybe you're working in different social media platforms and it's reaching out and connecting with folks. You need to have that element of being precocious, and that is to step out your comfort zone and strike up these conversations. When you begin to do that, you can connect. And when you connect, you are building a relationship. And that's this key piece of realizing people buy people, not products. no longer having a product transaction focus, but having a people and a relationship focus. And reaching out and striking up conversation becomes a key piece of this connecting on a people basis. And when you begin to understand that deep down inside you, right, they're connecting with me. I need to be the connection point and the focal point. So those are a couple of key pieces. I mentioned why, and I mentioned, so let's just talk about the why. So a popular book out has been for a few years here, and discussion has been Simon Sinek's Begin With Why. And love his work, excellent stuff, but it falls short. And I'm not busting his chops with that. It's something he admits himself. What he's done is he's done an excellent job of identifying the science behind the why and some of the mechanics of why we buy and how business is transacted. What's missing was the practical application of that. And that's where I like to help people understand that it's a little bit of a rephrase. It's not so much start with why. In our brains, that's what the fundamental question that needs to be answered is. If you've ever been around little kids or had them yourselves, so I've raised two boys. They're in their late teens and early 20s now. But as a kid, I myself, and you probably did as well, so I did, my kids have, and their kids will too. All children ask that fundamental question, why, Daddy? Why, Mommy? Right? So if you're an auntie or an uncle and you're babysitting kids and they're little, as they start to form language and get curious, no, they are curious, but when they start to ask the questions, it's this fundamental question of why? So deep down in our brains, I don't want to get into the science of it, but there is this fundamental desire to ask why and be curious. And the curiosity I've experienced in the practical application of that in the business world with, oh man, I've had hundreds of thousands of sales conversations, and I have experimented with all kinds of angles of asking questions and starting conversation. And the fundamental piece that people want to know and share themselves is this. It is this. It's who are you? When you answer that question, who are you? People go, oh, okay, like I can place you. And it becomes an important element for you to facilitate when you're talking with folks, because people buy people, not products. So when you're out networking, it's having a discussion around who are you? And it answers that fundamental question of why are you talking to me, and the why of who you are and the why of who I am, and these connection points. And it's important to know that in this whole concept and discussion around people by people, not products. If you can share who you are, you'll connect with someone. If you can facilitate them sharing who they are, they feel listened to. This brings up the last point I want to make. And that is, when you look at your face, and let's just do some math here, some numbers. We've only got one mouth and we've got two ears. And the ratio shows up in that to at least listen twice as much as you talk. And most salespeople talk way too darn much. They are just yippity-yapping along, and you're not connecting with people. Ask questions, and then zip your yipper, and then listen. And in some of the subsequent topics that I'd cover today, I'm going to be discussing how to do that and what to do in those situations. But I want to wrap this up, and this topic of people by people, not products. If you've got questions, throw them in the comments. I'll keep my eye on it and answer them out. If you've got other topics that you want to listen to, put them down there as well. Throw a couple of other comments in there so I can help serve you, because the whole point of what I do and why I get up in the morning is to help you learn how to master business, to train and equip business owners on how to master business so that you can build the business of your dreams and begin to live life on your terms.